This is an interesting one. Coach of the year, boys. Coach of the year for 2020. Chance?
Okay, hey, Mark's going first because every time I've said something, Mark has just torn it to pieces. So, Mark.
Yeah. Maybe I should have joined in debating society. So if I was going for a coach this year, and I'm stalling now because I don't know if I want to utter these words because I could forever be seen as a homer. But if it's going to happen for the Cardinals this year, it's going to be thanks to Cliff Kingsbury's offense.
Let's go.
Look, I'm hyped, obviously, with that whole second-year quarterback exploding, DeAndre Hopkins coming in. Right now, they have last year there, every team says is, our O-line. But they went out, they got former starters as depth, the likes of Kelvin Beachum and these guys for just for depth now that have loads of starts behind them. And now actually Kelvin Beachum, as it happens, might be starting at right tackle. But I think that if the Kyler Murray jump happens and Cliff Kingsbury has gotten over his rookie year in the NFL jitters, which he has alluded to a bunch, saying that he just wasn't ready he was playing from behind the eight ball a good bit last year because he didn't test out his offense in the preseason, and then there's great footage of him on the sidelines of the Lions game, clearly anxious, and he has since said this offseason, he said, I thought that was my job. He said it. So they had such a great run down the stretch last year on offense when it clicked. It was really enjoyable to watch, and I think that someone like him, kind of a sexy name or whatever, could win it. And it's just right now his odds, I think he's the fifth favored head coach to win it or whatever, which isn't bad looking. And the guys that you're looking at are the likes of Bruce Arians and stuff behind him. That it's certainly competitive this year. But I suppose it was a category that I was willing to take a punt on just because it's a bit of a more interesting category and it is so out there. And I think that it's worth noting that Cliff Kingsbury, if the Cardinals are good this year, I think it'll fall onto his shoulders more than Kyler Murray's shoulders.
Before everybody starts booing Mark for being a homer, I'm going to come to his defense on this one because he and I have talked a little bit on this show about how we really like the Cardinals team this year. And I've said it that I think this team could make the wild card and potentially be a playoff team. And I don't think it's far-fetched to say, this guy brought the Cardinals back from despair and turned them into a playoff team. And let's say, for example, the Cardinals have, the number one total offense. Let's just say it. We're not saying they are going to have it, but let's just say that they do. I could see a scenario where, a 9-win Cardinals team has the coach of the year. I could see that happening.
Yeah, that's my thought process. And yours now, too. You're voting for yourself in this category all of a sudden because you made some great points there.
I'm just saying, it could happen. So, Chance?
But you don't need to be, just to put a bow on your point
go ahead.
To steal it from myself, you don't have to be the winningest team in the NFL to win the Coach of the Year award. You just have to have a great story behind you. Maybe if Jack Del Rio with the Redskins, if something happens there, that kind of a story does help. Or if you bring something new and fresh and you get a team that sucked into the playoffs, that kind of story goes a long way with that award.
I agree with you. I think that's fair. It's more better than, team with the winningest head coach gets it because that's what it feels like every year. But I just want to point out that entire time Mark was talking, Chance kept shaking his head. So he better bring the pain with this one because Mark's really lulling me over here with this love story. So
okay. Yeah, you know what? I'll submit a couple of things, all right? I don't hate Cliff Kingsbury. I think that it was a personal success, the fact that he even got to be an NFL head coach at the time that he did. We've talked about this before. And I say that kudos to him. He did a great job interviewing for that spot. And he's done a solid job being, a first-year head coach. So I'm not knocking Cliff Kingsbury when I'm saying this, but I am saying that you're wrong. Here's what I'm saying, all right? Hayden, I'm going to sell you on this.
Okay. Talk to me.
You remember last offseason, we both thought the Cardinals – I'm thinking birds here. The Ravens made all the wrong decisions minus the Mark Ingram pick. Okay? What John Harbaugh did to turn that team around to be not only the best team offensively, but an absolute force defensively speaks to notions as him as a head coach. So now you're probably thinking, okay, well, now that he has a great situation, why should he get coach of the year? Yeah. Well, I present you with the top draft class, which you could attribute to the GM, but now he's got this to work with. So we're talking about already the best team in football. Because of him, the work he did on the offense and defense, that's just going to get better. Oh, and not to mention, Lamar Jackson is just going to go in and he's going to run people over like he did last year. You still got Mark Ingram. You have an already overloaded wide receiver core, which is just going to get better. Your defense is getting younger instead of older ever since you got rid of Earl Thomas. It seems like they're going to replace him handsomely. So this is a team that is not only built for the now, but it's built for the future. And that's a successful head coaching job.
That sounds like a GM of the year award. You're going for chance.
Mark swoops in and goes for the kneecaps.
I think you got those categories mixed up.
No. Okay. No, I hear you. But what I'm saying is that the Ravens GM took away a lot of defensive players, right, on that offseason. And it didn't look good on paper, but Harbaugh made it look good.
Oh, I thought that defense was amazing. Team. That secondary was fantastic.
No, sir, you're not understanding what I'm saying. Do you know how many players? Terrell Suggs left. I can go on and on for how many players. CJ Mosley. Yeah, exactly. Smith. They replaced their linebacking core, and Harbaugh made it work, and he made it amazing.
That was done on purpose, though, because they said we'll focus on the secondary. And they went off and got Marcus Peters during the season, but Earl Thomas, because we talked about this last year. Sorry, I don't want to come in on the point, but I just thought that the Ravens defense is just such a case study, because I think we mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. Such a case study of they went and built that the DBs, and now they brought it forward this year. That they brought in Calais Campbell and stuff. That I think they just made such a wise decision last year that they knew they couldn't pay CJ Mosley, and there was no point Terrell Suggs hanging around any longer. They lost someone else. They lost another linebacker that I'm not thinking of right now. But I think it was a conscious decision, and it kind of going to the who won last year.
I think it was Michael Orris who you're referring to.
Maybe.
Are you talking last year?
Yeah. So who got head coach last year?
It was Harbaugh. Ravens coach.
Yeah, right. So
I think he's going to repeat.
Oh, okay, yeah, right. Because I was going to say he got it last year, and
yeah, he did. Yeah.
To me, it's kind of like he's done it now, and if Lamar takes a step up, that's because Lamar takes a step up. Sorry, I'll let you decide now, Hayden. That was just some.
I never rebutted any of your points. Just saying.
Just sat there and took body blow after body blow from Mark and just sat there. But
I know I never. When I let you speak your case, I never rebutted your point when I went first. Just saying.
Well, you should have.
Maybe I should. Maybe I will going forward. But anyway, Hayden, who are you more sold on?
I was so ready for this category to be simple and quick. I did not think you two would go at it like that if we're going to be here. But I understand where Mark's coming from. I like his idea that it's more of a narrative and a story behind this coach succeeding. And I think that's part of the reason why Harbaugh won it last year, because there were so many questions, to Chance's point, about the Ravens and what they were going to do. Nobody saw them being the team with the most wins, 14-2, Lamar having an MVP an all-time season. Nobody saw any of that coming. So the idea that Harbaugh brought them out of a team that had some questions about a lot of things to being the best team in the NFL, I feel like that really helped his chance. And the point that he's been there, done that, like Mark said, I feel like I'm going to go with Mark's pick. I'm following Cliff. I like me some Mr. Handsome Man. Let's go Cliff. I'll give it to Mark this round.
I also picked him knowing the crush that you have on him. So maybe that's like a bit of a Cam Newton move, but it worked in my favor this time.
He's doing some psychologically stuff because, I do think he's very handsome. He is very handsome. Most handsome man in the NFL.